Hello, hello, and welcome to the Telescope Show. We laugh, we discover God, and we totally nerd out. My name is Matthew Seipel Anderson. Special day today because I'm hanging out with Mr. Ethan Palmer.
Woo! Add my own cheer crowd sound effect right there.
Oh, yeah. Do I have one of those? Let's see. It's what we got. Oh, no.
That works.
The news is we've got Ethan Palmer.
I appreciate that. That'll work. But hello. Yeah, I'm here. Glad to be on the show again.
So today we're talking about Antman Quantumania. And Ethan was telling me how much he loved this movie. Katie hasn't even seen it yet.
She's missing out.
Yeah, totally. So she was like, you guys should just do the podcast with Ethan.
And here I am, ready to jump in. So I actually have, since you guys do this at the top of most of your shows, I actually have a would you rather for you, since I'm replacing Katie for today, not for all of time. But so I have one here. Since I know you like Lord of the Rings, and I know we're here to talk about superheroes, I have a pretty good one. Would you rather be a wizard or a superhero?
Oh, my goodness. That is a tough one.
Both have their benefits.
I mean, the older I get, the longer my eyebrow hairs are getting. So I think I'm going to go wizard.
There you go. You got the wizard aesthetic.
Because I might be already on my way.
There we go. I think I would choose superhero just because there's a lot of variety. Well, you know what? Wizards can kind of multi-class in everything that they do.
That's
so
true.
They could be a superhero, have their superhero abilities.
You need a flying spell?
Exactly.
You want to fly?
You want to get stronger? There's probably something for that.
Some kind of mushroom that you, yeah. For real.
Did you know a single ant can carry 50 times its own body weight?
That's awesome.
We were trying to do the math a little bit. That's like 10,000 pounds. If a 200-pound human did that, it'd be roughly 10,000 pounds that they could carry by themselves.
Which is a car? 10,000 packages of frozen hamburger meat?
Yes. Oh, man, imagine that. That'd be quite the amount.
I'd go to Starbucks. I'd be like, I need some ground coffee. Can I get 10,000 pounds?
Do you want it in a bag? No, I'll just carry it out. It's fine.
Yeah. Load it on my back, please.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to do multiple grocery runs when you're grabbing stuff from the car. You just bring it all in at once.
Oh, dude, it'd be amazing. Well, I found something on ants, and this was a video that's floating around Facebook. I think you mentioned you saw it also.
Yeah.
It's the blue butterfly. It's actually the Alcon blue butterfly. When they're in their larva phase, they trick ants into carrying them back to the ant lair, where they literally eat the ant babies to survive. Then they go into their chrysalis, and they emerge as a really pretty-looking blue butterfly.
Yeah, it looks rather harmless when it's a butterfly, but when it's a caterpillar, it is the bane of an ant colony.
And the crazy thing is, they don't even know it. It tricks them into believing that the larva is like a queen ant with the pheromones and the sound it makes.
Yeah, and then they just ignore it once they bring it back to the anthill. It's crazy.
Yeah. So ants truly are like little robots.
They are just following their programming.
Yeah. No, none of them are going, where are the babies?
Yeah, exactly. I actually saw there was an experiment done where they took the pheromones from a dead ant, because for whatever reason they kind of create their own burial area for dead ants, and they produce a pheromone, and they put that on a live ant, and all the other ants thought it was dead and started carrying it off to its like little grave burial site.
My question is, did it think it was dead?
That's a good question, because if it smelled like this, if everyone else reacted like it, I don't know. That's a good question.
It just laid down and was like, here, I'll help you guys bury me. Come on.
I'm already a goner.
Ant-Man and company are sucked into the quantum realm after Kang detects a signal that Casey Lang is sending in to the quantum realm, that is. Kang needs the Pym particle to reactivate his time machine and escape from the quantum realm, and that's pretty much where the movie is. If you're listening, this will be a spoiler-full episode.
Very full.
We're not holding back anything. Go see it. It's been out forever. So I liked it, but you loved it.
Yeah, I loved it. I think I liked the whole kind of style of the film. It felt like it went back to its roots when it came to Marvel movies, kind of more like the original Captain America stuff, the Iron Man stuff. And for some reason, it just itched that scratch, or scratch that itch, other way around. Of
in the quantum realm, it could be whatever way you want.
True. That's very true. I want to say a lot of that comes from the directors that were a part of that, and all the new, what are we, Phase 5 movies? Whatever phase we're in nowadays.
I think Ant-Man kicked off Phase 5.
Okay. So I was thinking of Doctor Strange, for example, the Multiverse of Madness that was done by Sam Raimi, and he really put his influence on that movie. And the other directors of movies from that category, they really tried to make it their own rather than, kind of following the style of all the other MCU movies. So it was kind of nice to get back to that kind of feel.
I would agree with you, and I've never thought of it from that point of view before. But the one I'm thinking of is Eternals. Really had its own style.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was.
The fans were kind of like,
Yeah, I think some of it might have been the casting of some of the heroes. No, that's not this superpower Eternal. That's just Angelina Jolie fighting off a weird creature. I think that might have been part of it. One issue some of my coworkers actually brought up with the Eternals is that some of their fights, the impact of their fights didn't always make sense. And you find this with a lot of superhero movies, this guy just got thrown through a building, he's out for the count. Oh wait, no, it just took a punch to the gut or something. The scale of it wasn't as coherent. And that's what I've heard from my coworkers about the Eternals issue.
That's actually one of my gripes with Ant-Man. I don't have many gripes. I really enjoyed it, but there was one moment where, and it was one of the funniest moments of the film where Scott and Cassie, father-daughter, are fighting in the climactic battle, and they both go supersized, which was awesome, by the way. Awesome. It was so super funny. But I had a moment where I stopped and I thought, okay, Kang the Conqueror, who just conquered all these people, is shooting quantum energy lasers, and they're just bouncing off them like it doesn't hurt them at all.
I could definitely see that. Their suits are not made out of some super material that we know of anyways. They're just kind of suits. They're
it's
like super
faux
armor.
leather.
Right. And with, again, a thought with Ant-Man from all the other movies and stuff like that, some of the, obviously, science doesn't exactly make sense. They talk about, you remain as dense as you were when you were big. So Hank Pym shouldn't have been able to carry a tank on his keychain because it would still have the weight of that tank. So there are some things you just got to shove to the side with that, man, and say it's funny. They did it well.
It's a superhero movie.
It's a superhero movie. Exactly. There's going to be some loopholes and plot holes like that.
Something I loved in Ant-Man, though, I loved the MODOK character.
Oh, yeah. He was hilarious. I did not expect, especially how they wrote him in from the first Ant-Man. I did not expect that to happen at all.
Yeah, I was thinking, MODOK's been in a lot of stuff in the comics, so here's the introduction to a new villainous character, and he's probably going to be with us for a while.
And then he's not.
They just introduced him and then they killed him off.
It might have been one of those things where someone thought, you know what? This might be ridiculous, but let's throw him in here, make him look like this, and just have his own kind of villain arc throughout the whole thing. And then, then we don't have to deal with him anymore. We did that fan service.
And it worked brilliantly.
It did.
Because anything can really happen in the quantum realm. It's this crazy, weird world. And MODOK fit right in.
He did. Crazy weird world.
One of my favorite things about the whole Ant-Man movie in the quantum realm was just how beautiful it looked.
Yeah.
It actually was kind of dazzling.
The visuals are fantastic.
I just was like just admiring it. I felt like a kid at the IMAX. I don't know if those are still even around.
Oh, they're still there.
But yeah, and you're just like,
there's so much to see on
trying to
each
take it
like
out.
big scenic landscape pictures that they do is quite stunning, visually stunning. I love that.
It was just straight up fun to watch.
And all the wacky characters that you kind of see along the way. Like, I wanted to see more of the broccoli head guy. There's a guy who had basically a head of broccoli and all the little stalks were eyeballs. So it was so bizarre and out of there that it was cool and wacky. And we haven't really seen that much from the multiverse quite yet, or quantum realm. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite moments in the Ant-Man movie?
I loved when Ant-Man dove into the probability core, and there were like all those different copies of him, all in this weird mind-bending madness.
That was awesome.
That happened, like, visually, it was so cool. And then, putting a Christian spin into it, or seeing it through a different lens, he was, going through and he was trying to figure out how in the world to focus himself in all these different variants of him, probabilities of himself, and he grounded himself by thinking of Cassie, his daughter. I just thought that was kind of a cool analogy for Jesus and how he looks at us. Like, he dove down into this madness that we call Earth as a human.
Yeah.
Was going through, loved us so much, he decided to dive down into where it was the most dangerous, and then looked back and said, Cassie, you're worth it. Matt, Ethan, you're worth it enough so that I can come down here, grab this super dangerous thing, take it upon myself to get out so that you can be freed from this bad guy.
That's amazing.
It popped into my head the other day when we were talking about Ant-Man. I think it's a really cool way to look through media through a Christian lens. That's what popped into my head.
It's a great picture of just that love, like that father's love for a child.
Right.
And, God is love. That's a foundational thing. So, that's awesome. I loved the little moment, and this is totally unspiritual, but in the coffee shop, we were talking about this earlier. I think everybody loved the moment where the coffee shop owner says, thanks, Spider-Man.
Yeah, completely misidentifies him. And he's just like, well, I got a free coffee. That's fine. I'll be Spider-Man.
And that old guy, he looked a little bit like Stan Lee.
A
And
little bit. I could see that.
The Stan Lee cameos back in Phase 1
I miss those.
I know.
I love those cameos. One of my favorite moments is that during the big battle, all this stuff is going on. And in the background, you see one of the living houses, like cradling one of the other living houses that is probably dying in its arms. And you're like, that whole concept of these buildings are living things and they have guns on them and can fly. What's happening here?
Right. So I have a prediction.
All right.
I predict that they're going to bring back, this is actually a pretty safe prediction. I predict they're going to bring back some of these quantum characters. Specifically, I was just refreshing my memory and looking back at the characters. So Gentora, the female warrior, and Veb, the goo guy.
Loved him.
Yeah, loved him.
He was hilarious.
I have holes! and Quars. I think I'm getting his name right. The psychic guy.
Yeah.
With the triangle that lit up on his forehead, which is so funny to me.
Yeah, those guys, you can see them being their own like quantum Avengers or quantum Guardians of the Galaxy, kind of like equivalents, forming their team. And
that would be cool.
I think I've seen a lot with prediction-wise that the quantum realm is going to show up more in this story. I've heard it that like the quantum realm, the area that they were in, is going to be kind of like a hub for time travelers and for travelers of all sizes that kind of bounce through there at different points. So I think we're going to see a lot more of the quantum realm in general.
That would be great because it would help bring some cohesion with all the time changes and bouncing around between timelines, to have that to go back to.
Yeah,
that would
definitely.
actually be really cool, and that also ties into the TVA and Loki and all that stuff.
Yep.
I'm curious how this is all going to lead up to a new Avengers movie. Because the next Avengers is called Kang Dynasty.
Right.
So, I mean, again, a pretty safe guess, but it seems like all this stuff is going to start to snowball. Kang's out of the quantum realm.
Right.
He's going to find a way to continue to make his timeline mischief, and it's going to pull in a bunch of our favorite characters and they're going to form sort of a new Avengers. And
then they might all be from different timelines.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Which would be really fun. Different universes and variants. I've also, seeing some of the stuff posted on Facebook and comics and stuff, there are good Kang variants. So, are one of them going to be a part of this new Avengers group to help fight the bad Kang,
It's conceivable, and I think it's even something that happened in the comics, like you said.
Yeah. So, again, it'll be interesting to see how they pull that in and who's going to be a part of that team. It almost reminds me of the animated series they did of What If. They had the British Captain America, or it was Peggy Carter, or, Steve Rogers was in an Iron Man-like suit in that one, and things like that. Are they going to do something like that to pull them together? So,
will we see Kang kill a bunch of Avengers variants like he said he had? Are we going to get to see that in the future Avengers movies? That would be interesting also.
That would be very cool. I can see them pulling a lot of that maybe into the Loki series that's going to come out. Maybe be more specific on that, because they've already established jumping timelines and stuff like that. That might be where we see more of that. I don't know.
Well, y'all, we'd love to know, what are some of your favorite moments from Ant-Man? What did you think of Ant-Man? How do you think they're going to deal with the Kang variants? Post all your Ant-Man theories down in the comments. And until next time, we're going to sign off. Thanks so much, Ethan, for hanging out and talking about Ant-Man.
Thanks for having me again.
Blast. And love y'all. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.